history of their franchise,
Yes.
and he's only played 47 games for him. Like, no, you make it work. And Odell, I think, dealt with last week well. Didn't fire off any crazy tweets. Didn't do anything to draw more negative attention to himself. Trying his best at the moment, stay under the radar. You don't trade him.
All right, to the NBA now. Big game tonight in the East. First place Raptors visiting third place Cavs. Cleveland's won 9 of 11. Nick, how important is this game for Toronto and for Cleveland?
Listen, I'm going to talk about the Raptors. I'm surprised people give the Raptors angle of this.
Okay, well, let's go with
Listen, Toronto, it looked like had the 1 seed locked up. Then they lose 4 of 7. One of those losses was a devastating loss to Cleveland, which feels like 3 losses.
Weren't they up by 17?
They were killing them at the half, and then LeBron and co came and snatched their soul from them and made everybody question, how good is this team really? You play Cleveland tonight. You then play Boston, who just beat you a couple days ago, on a back-to-back tomorrow. Boston could have the tiebreaker. They've already won 2 out of 3 against you this year. All of a sudden, you could, in 36 hours, not be the #1 seed anymore. Potentially be playing Cleveland in round 2. This is a huge game for the Toronto Raptors tonight.
It is a huge game for Toronto for the things you mentioned, but let's go on Cleveland's side. I just believe with the new players, we know that they lost their point guard. We don't know if Kyle Korver's coming back, but for Cleveland to continue the dominance over Toronto, especially in Cleveland, I believe it's important because Larry Nance Jr., he hadn't played against Toronto. He hadn't had that success. Clarkson, he hadn't had that success. For LeBron and company, it's important that they continue to keep that chokehold over the Raptors.
All right, finally, we're talking Tiger Woods. The Masters starts on Thursday, but the buzz starts today with Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson being paired together for a practice round. Tiger will be looking to take home his 5th green jacket. CeCe, what are fair expectations for Tiger heading into Augusta?
And if you're a fan of golf, you're a fan of Tiger Woods, you can understand why he would be the favorite. Typically in his comebacks, he's been coming back to the Masters where he hadn't played much golf.
Right.
But the thing is, he's played in several tournaments. We have seen him with this new swing. It's very dependable. We've seen him be able to practice. We know that his short game is outstanding, so how does he drive the ball? If he drives the ball well, we know with his short game, Nick, in the last tournament he was in, he was 59 for 59 putts at 9 feet and in. If he puts anywhere close to that, Tiger Woods could be putting on his 5th green jacket on Sunday night. He has played well enough to be able to win the Masters. The thing we need to watch is he's changed 2 things in his game. He changed his driver. He put a different shaft in there that's a little bit lighter, which Freddie Couples played with him yesterday, said he's getting great results from. So driver and 3-wood off the tee is going to be able to dictate if Tiger Woods is able to get that 5th green jacket.
I believe if Tiger Woods is just middle of the pack, driving accuracy, not counting when he's driving with the irons. I'm talking about when he's using his driver or 3-wood. If he can be middle of the pack, he's in the top 4 of this tournament on Sunday, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if some of the we've seen from other players when Tiger's in the hunt late, if that affects them. Because we saw him at the Valspar a few weeks ago not take advantage of any par 5s, basically, because his driver was inaccurate and he had a putt to force a playoff. We saw him the following week in a very tough field dominate the par 5s, despite not having good driving accuracy, and be in it until he was on the 15th hole on Sunday when he drove it out of bounds. If he's accurate with the driver, he's the most dangerous golfer out there.
Right, and don't be surprised by this weekend. I've walked a lot of rounds with Tiger in other tournaments. I've been to 10 Masters at least with Tiger Woods, walking with his group, walking with him, hit shots. There is no home court advantage bigger than Tiger Woods on a run at Augusta. So not only have the players, have they faltered, but the crowd and the noise that Tiger creates at Augusta, it's all a part of it.
And another reason there's some home court advantage for Tiger at Augusta is the width of the fairways. You can be a little more wild with your drives. And what we've seen Tiger, not just in the Masters, but in repeated tournaments, you've said it. People won't believe it, CeCe, but you've said it walking with him. He's nervous first hole.
Yes.
And if that first hole is one of your scoring holes, and you drive it sideways, and all of a sudden you're fighting for par on a scoring hole, that puts you way behind the 8 ball. The scoring holes at Augusta are predominantly towards the back 9.
Yes.
So even if he gets off to a bit of a shaky start, he can make up for it on the back 9, which is one of the things he's been so successful.
I was just going to say the same thing you did. I've walked at least 10 holes 10 different times in 10 years with Tiger Woods. He's a funny guy.
Just 10 holes, not 10 rounds. Just
10
one
rounds,
hole a year.
One hole
Fly
a
to
year.
Augusta. I'm going to do the 17th on Saturday.
That's what you took out of the story.
Well, the story didn't make sense, and it was a lie. I thought America should know.
I've had it with you, Nick Wright. That's fake coffee. New topic. So the growing uncertainty over who will be in the NBA Finals, because we must know now and can't possibly let it play itself out. At the start of the season, the Warriors were the overwhelming favorites to win it all. Overwhelming would be the word used there. Now, with injuries up and down that roster, not so much. According to major sports books, the Rockets and the Warriors both have the same odds to win the NBA title. Both teams sit at 1 and 2 in the Western Conference, so that adds to the drama. Nick, how big of a deal is this?
Man, this is interesting to me. This is the first time in over 3 years any team has had equal or better odds than the Warriors to win the NBA championship.
Nick, why don't you be a little bit of a Vegas whisperer here? Why don't you try to tell the people what Vegas is trying to tell the people in having the odds being even?
Okay.
It's the greatest question you could have asked him. He's so excited to answer.
But it's an important question. I'm glad you did ask it. What is baked into this number is that clearly the line makers in Vegas share the belief that you have, that Chris Broussard has, which is that the Warriors without Steph Curry could get got in the first round. Vegas is not sitting here telling you Warriors-Rockets Western Conference Finals is a coin flip. What they're sitting here telling you is we are not certain, not nearly as certain as we've been in years past, that the Warriors are going to get there. Because the one series we know Steph's not playing in is round one, and I'm very confident in saying this. If the Warriors and Rockets play in the Western Conference Finals, even with the Rockets having home court advantage, if the Warriors have their full complement of players, which we think they will, the Warriors will be the favorites. So why would they have even odds? Because they have more questions about the Warriors getting to the Western Conference Finals than they have about the Rockets getting to the Western Conference Finals. Again, there's been a 3-day window in the last 3.5 years where the Warriors were not the solo favorites to win the championship. That was the 3 days after they went down 3-1 to the Thunder. Once it got to 3-3, they went back to being the favorites. They were the favorites all year. They were the favorites the tail end of the previous year. That's it. So this is the reason we're talking about Vegas odds changing is this is jarring. This is, we talked Tiger Woods earlier, this is Tiger in his prime not being the favorite to win the Masters. Like, it simply didn't happen.
And it's also sending out a red flag to those who potentially you need to watch. That's why round one and round two in the NBA playoffs, I believe, will be better than the rounds that we have seen before. I believe this will be the most contested championship that Golden State will go after, because when Steph misses series number one, oh, you're getting ready to miss a superstar.
Right.
And we're going to be able to see that instantly.
So with the Warriors, the key to their success is obviously injuries, because if they can overcome that, they're okay. But what is it with the Rockets? What do you think the key is for them in the postseason?
It's about confidence. It's about what they did this offseason. People don't mention them, but, man, P.J. Tucker, man, he's a bad Like he brings a lot of Capella. Did we know that he was going to develop like this? Chris Paul, his ability to stay healthy and his ability to share the spotlight and the basketball with James Harden. And James Harden has put together one of the 4 best seasons that he's ever had, because he should have been MVP before this season. But he didn't give up on that. We got Chris Paul. He came back and still put up arguably his best season as a pro.
And I want to draw a comparison that people will remember. One of the things that unlocked the Warriors was good fortune. Right after Steve Kerr got there, keep in mind, they were starting David Lee. David Lee got hurt. They insert Draymond Green, and all of a sudden it's a revelation. Draymond Green was not who we think of now, the defensive player of the year, emotional leader of the team. He was considered being thrown into a Klay Thompson for Kevin Love trade, right? So they didn't know what they had in Draymond Green until he got out there. Well, the Rockets were starting Ryan Anderson. He got hurt. Then they insert P.J. Tucker into the starting lineup. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we're not dropping off offensively, and we're adding so much defensively. There are 2 numbers that I think define why the Rockets can beat. Now, I don't know that they'd be favored to beat, but certainly can beat a full-strength Warriors team. The first number is this, 65 wins. They're right now 62-15. They're going to get to 65 wins. That's a historic number in this league. 20 teams have done it. 15 of those 20 teams have gone on to win the title. If you don't care about the history, you only care about the here and now, here's the other number. 41 times the Rockets have played with their 3 best players, Harden, Paul, Capella. They are 39-2 in those 41 games. You want to beat them in a series, you got to beat them 4 times. They've only lost twice all year with their full complement of players. That's the other reason, in addition to Steph's injury, that people think Houston might be, while they struggled unveiling the championship banner for the Astros, they might get a second shot at it with the Rockets this year.
Just like Philadelphia, Villanova, with the backup coming in, Nick Foles being a backup, we could have the same thing going on in Houston. Astros, and then here we come with the Rockets.
All right, it's a real thing.
Just saying. All right, coming up, could Bill Belichick actually trade Rob Gronkowski? It's next on First Things First.
That's what's hurting.
Come on, you can